Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Surviving Life's Pickles. We are so excited to be here this week with you. Thank you for tuning in your busy life, taking the time to listen to our great conversations we have for you today. We truly appreciate all of you tuning in and spending this time with us today. I am joined today by a dear friend of mine, Alex Glover. Alex, how are you today?
I'm doing quite well, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming. And before we really dive into what we're talking about today, everybody knows we start off these episodes with gratitude. And Alex, what are you grateful for today?
I knew this was coming, so I gave it a little bit of thought, and I keep coming back to the same three things over and over again. I am extremely grateful for my faith, my family, and my friends. They've truly been helping me get through some very hard times recently.
I love that. And I know we're going to go into a little bit more of that in this conversation. And I've seen that in you. I've seen how grateful you are for those things over this past few weeks and months as things have been happening. So thank you for sharing that. Today, this is a hard one for me. Today's really hard because it has been a very stressful time with losing my friend, lots of things happening with our business and so forth. And so grateful, all I can think about right now is the stress. But I guess what I'm really grateful for is my relationships and how they bring me the calm and the peace when I need them. Because of so much stress and everything going on, I can come home and I can say, Hillary, this is what's going on. And then she goes right into loving her man mode and just kind of helps de-escalate that and makes me just relax and breathe a little bit. So I'm very, very grateful for that. Well, everybody, I've asked Alex here today, and yes, it did take a little coaxing to get him to come, but it's all right. But I've asked Alex here today. We've become really good friends over the last couple years through work. We met through work. He has been and still is one of my manufacturers, and I sell his products. And so that's been wonderful that life brought us together. And now we're sitting here today to discuss things further. And today, Alex is going to sit down and we just finished our very first Surviving Life's Pickles men's retreat called The Strength and Connection. And Alex was brave enough to come out and attend this retreat and help out with it with me. And so we wanted to sit down and kind of do a recap, talk about what the retreat was, what we did, how we felt it went, and share that experience with everybody else. Because you know what? I feel like we helped people. I feel like we accomplished most of the goals we set out to. And that just tells me that it's very needed. And we want to do another one. So I figured let's educate everybody kind of what happened and how it went. All the goods, the bads, the funs, the uglies.
It was definitely a worthwhile event, that's for sure.
So just really quick, we did a men's retreat. It was men only. And we called it Strength and Connection. We really dove into topics of how to connect with yourself, how to connect with others, how to build relationships. That was really the focus of the retreat and the workshops and different activities we did, how to, be there for each other and teamwork, things like that. And it was an experience. We had multiple workshops. So just to cover a few things, we did a group mountain bike ride together. We did a group afternoon on the lake on paddleboards. Then we did a workshop with Lincoln Bradshaw, who is a therapist in IFS, which is internal family systems. He came out and educated us on how to have that connection a little bit more with ourselves. And then right after that, we had the amazing opportunity to have a sound bath campfire experience. We were all able to lay down, sit down around the campfire and have this amazing sound bath guided and brought to us by Andy Satterley. And it was probably one of the most amazing sound bath or best experiences in that kind of realm for me. Even though I was kind of facilitating and run around a little bit, it was impactful. The next morning, we were able to get up, we did breakfast together, and then we did a connection workshop, which I taught. And it was really focused on how we connect with ourselves, how we make goals with ourselves, and then how that translates into other connections and relationships and moving forward in life with those things. And it was a great day. We had a few things that happened.
Don't forget the 50-mile-an-hour windstorm, Scott.
I mean, our first day out there, we're out there getting set up, and Alex and his boys and Reed, who was our camp cook and helped do all that, was out there, and we had 50-mile-an-hour winds in the middle of the desert, and it about took us out.
You might say it about took us out, but I feel it brought us really together really quick.
That it
We
did.
all jumped in, we all did what we have to do, and we made a great weekend of it anyway.
Well, and it just with the theme of the weekend, it kind of just rolled into it. We weathered this awful, horrible storm to start the weekend out, and the rest of it was great.
It was beautiful. The pictures I got of the sunset after that storm went away,
Oh yeah,
some of the prettiest sunsets I've ever seen, and I've seen some pretty ones.
yeah. I mean, it overall was a great, great time.
Absolutely.
Well, Alex, as we dive into this, just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and then we'll kind of dive into the retreat.
Hello, everyone. My name's Alex Glover.
And he's Alex Glover, my lover or brother from another mother, just so you know.
There's a lot of ways that can go. It's rather quite an interesting last name, and the way people mess it up are hilarious. I'm a father of 4. I was married for a long time. It's one of my challenges I'm coming up with recently is I'm a newly single father, still taking care of my 4 children. I'm in the construction business. I work for an American manufacturer that makes products that service mining industry, the aggregate industry, food processing, and package handling industries. So fairly well-rounded business, fairly very large, well-respected manufacturer here in the U.S. within our industries. Been through a lot of ups and downs in my life. And I look back at all of the challenges that I've ever faced. And while some of them might have been painful or challenging, I'm truly grateful for all of them because I think they've turned me into the man I am today and the father that I can be for my children, especially as I have two boys that are 18 years old. And as I'm trying to guide them into manhood, I look back at all of the challenges that I've faced over my 44 turns around the sun. And I can actually look back and be grateful for them instead of angry over.
Well, and that perspective didn't come overnight.
Not at all.
It takes us a long time to get to
Lot
that
of
point. And I have to commend you because even when I first met you, you didn't quite have that much of a positive perspective, but it's really grown over the last few years.
Yes,
So-
definitely.
Well, let's talk about this retreat, Alex. So we held this retreat. Obviously, we know you heard about it from me.
Certainly.
But why were you interested in coming to a retreat like this? I guess the first question is, had you ever done anything like that in your life before?
Not even remotely close. No, never.
Okay. So why would you be interested in jumping into something like that?
Well, I've been watching your journey here with Surviving Life's Pickles and listening to the podcast. And over the last couple of years, I've tried to work a little bit more on self-care, whether it be health, fitness, mental, spiritual, really trying to grow myself. I'm one of those people that's a firm believer that I don't compete with other men or other people on this planet. I compete with myself from last week and myself from next week. And every day I try and make myself better in some form or fashion. And when the opportunity came up, I have twin boys that are 18 years old. And I thought it would be a great opportunity really to show them that it's okay to talk about challenges that you face with other people instead of just shoving it back down. Because that's what I did for a good 43 years of those 44 turns around the planet,
Yeah.
around the sun. So that was my initial reason for wanting to go, was to kind of grow a little bit closer to my boys and show those boys as they're turning into the man stages of their lives, that there is a better way to handle it than I handled it for many decades. Couple months before, now I had signed up for this months ago. On top of that, I recently had my wife decided to leave me. So I became a single father again. And during those challenges, I was struggling at first. And so then it kind of became more about challenging myself to be open and vulnerable and talk about my challenges because I was the I'm fine guy all my life. Handle your stuff in silence. It's how I've always been raised. It's how the industry that I've worked in. It's just been the general over encompassing thought process for men with challenges. And I wanted to try something different. So we went, and it served multiple purposes while we were there.
Well, again, I am truly grateful for you coming and putting some faith in me to put this together because this was our first one. But I am just truly grateful that you were open to trying some of these experiences and new things. I think for me, as facilitating it and then being part of it, that was the best part, is to see everybody willing to try and do something new. The next question I have, as we go to this retreat, you only knew me.
Yes.
So you're coming to a retreat with a whole bunch of men that you have no idea who they are. What was your thoughts going into that?
It was terrifying. I ain't even gonna lie. It was terrifying. The thought of sharing any personal experience, during the workshops, the concern about when you bring up your faith, is somebody going to judge you or not want to talk to you the rest of the day? The fear of being open and sharing my challenges because, oh, your wife left you. Oh, you did something wrong or this or that, or fear of judgment, I guess.
Yeah.
But they completely changed my mind. Every one of those men.
Yeah, they were a great group of men, and a handful of them have been I Love You Bro support group guys for a while, and that's how a lot of them kind of got introduced to me. And then a few of them I knew outside of the group, like yourself and Andy and Lincoln, and so it was a great experience. I really like that you shared how terrified you were, because I've talked to a few of the other guys, and they were as well. They had no idea what to expect. And for anybody who attended, there was only one person who attended that event who had ever done a retreat similar to that. So it was new to all of us. Andy was the only one who had ever participated. And luckily, he was a facilitator and helped with the sound bath and a few things. It was great to have him there because he had participated, but everybody else, it was the first time go. So it was a lot. But
Yeah.
That's how you went into it. The question that's on my mind right now, and I might be jumping ahead, but that's fine because it's my show. When you were leaving and on the way home with your boys, what was your thoughts about the experience? Did the fear and all of that completely go away? Like, how did your outlook look after the retreat?
Good hour and a half of the drive home was a conversation about how we felt about it, me and the boys, what we gained out of it, what we think we could gain out of them more in the future. I had my mind changed on multiple things. Lincoln, therapist.
Yeah.
I had no desire to ever speak to a therapist about any of my personal thoughts or challenges, just because of whatever stigmas are out there that I've created in my mind or people have created in my mind for me. That man completely changed my view of therapy.
Yeah.
It is actually now something that I'm going to consider moving forward in future challenging times.
Well, and I will throw a little plug in here for Lincoln Bradshaw Counseling. Lincoln, I've known him for a year and a half. I did some initial ketamine group therapy with him. And now, after the retreat, I've actually brought him on as my full-time therapist because I seen what he did for you guys. But I also knew Lincoln and me had a different type of bond where I've always had female therapists. And the couple male therapists I ever went to was an awful experience. But Lincoln is a different person. And
on top of that, I'll just throw how non-judgmental he was and the fear of judgment I had because he walked us through an
internal family systems kind of therapy session, like a mock therapy session.
Yeah. And that guided meditation type thing where we talked about the parts of ourselves. And I was going through it and I'm trying to follow along as best I can. And it was interesting to me. He asked me to leave the parts of myself away from me so I could go learn more about myself in this walk and this meditation, right? And when it was over and he asked for feedback, I told myself I was going to be open in front of my boys, so I was, right? I told myself I was going to be open, honest, and vulnerable throughout this entire weekend. And when I had to tell him that I could not leave my faith behind, even though that was the instruction, I was so prepared to be told that you're not doing it right or you're not trying hard enough or some kind of negative something was going to come as a response for me telling him, I'm sorry, I couldn't do that. Got the completely opposite response from him.
Yeah. I mean, he really came out that with compassion and let you know that because you were sitting with that part of you and your faith is that embedded and that important in your daily physical and mental and spiritual life, that it's okay not to have to leave that behind.
Yeah. And he didn't brush it off. He didn't, hurry up onto the next guy. He took a minute, told me it was beautiful, talked through why, had me press down a little bit more on it. And it was, again, great experience. Couldn't recommend speaking to the guy more. Like, just
Awesome.
excellent experience.
Awesome. I really, really like that. So that brings something up too. So as we were doing our introduction campfire meeting the first night.
Yeah.
So all of us, we gathered there, everybody got, camp set up. And then we had a introduction to the retreat session where we talked about setting intentions. Why are you here? What do you want to get out of it? Actually writing them down in a journal so that you could refer back to them. And then I told everybody my story and why I wanted to put the retreat on and my intentions and everything behind that. And I know your boys don't know a lot that has gone on. And as I was telling my story, I seen them almost a shock and awe look on their face as I was telling some of the things that I've gone through. And I think as I look back on it now, it wasn't shock and awe of, oh my gosh, it was, wow, he's sharing this, is how I kind of took it in after really thinking about it. It wasn't that they were shocked because they know life happens and they know no stuff happens. They're 18, they've experienced a little bit and they get it. They're smart boys. So I really feel that it was the shock and awe of, hey, he's sharing these awful personal things with us. That's different. And that's kind of what I got. And that really set the tone for me for the rest of the weekend of this is the place to be open with everybody.
Yes. Yeah. I would 100% agree with that statement. And even in the time since the retreat, the openness between the three of us as we work together to adjust to this new lifestyle of it's us against the world. We're doing the cooking, we're doing the grocery shopping, the camaraderie and the teamwork and the support they offer for each other when someone's not feeling good or maybe he's just morning crankiness or with one of them, right? But I see more since the retreat where, hey guys, one brother goes to the other brother, hey, it's okay, you got this, it's all right, we're here to help you. Them to me, even like if they see that I had a challenging day at work, it's okay, Dad, you're doing great. Just positive things out of nowhere that you would never expect from 18-year-old twin brothers to each other, to their sisters, to me. I think it had a very positive effect on them.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, let's kind of run through a little bit. So we talked about the meeting, fireside meeting, kind of, campfire. We didn't really have a fire because it was limited that night. We did have one on the second night, but that's a different story. But we were able to have that meeting, introduced a lot of us. We came from all walks of life. There were people, all over the state that came.
Business
owners,
engineers, construction guys, salespeople.
Exactly. And so we were a group of guys that never in a million years would have got together for any other reason.
Absolutely.
And that right there makes me feel successful is we got a whole bunch of guys that never would have came out and done something like this together on one simple fact of they wanted to have connection with somebody else. So we had that meeting. We learned a little bit about each other. Had that great dinner that night. And then the morning we got up, we did breakfast together, and then we did a group mountain biking ride. A lot of the guys hadn't mountain biked in years, in a long time. So it was a trial for some of
Yeah.
them. We had a couple of them that really struggled physically, and some of them struggled mentally just because it was a challenge that maybe they weren't quite prepared for. But the most beautiful thing about that mountain bike ride is every single person accepted the challenge
Yes.
and they all went for it. We all had breaking points at different parts, which was fine.
I only fell once, Scott.
And you only fell once. You didn't bend anything on my bike, so that's good. I thought the mountain bike ride was a great way to really start that day off because it really challenged us physically when some of us really hadn't done that. And then the mental aspect of it and how we were there to support each other. I thought that was great.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Heck, we even had a guy there that couldn't ride a mountain bike, and we made sure that he got out there to do a little bit of off-roading so he could still be part of the event,
Right.
even though he had a physical handicap.
Yeah. And
And
he still had fun and, it was there with us. So,
And one of my boys rode with him and had a great experience and a great time with him.
yeah, he was able to have that conversation and just keep that camaraderie going throughout.
Yep.
Yeah. And we came back, we did lunch, and then we went out and we hit the lake and hit paddleboards. Your first time on a paddleboard.
First time ever.
First time for a couple of the other guys on paddleboards. I mean, the lake was a little low, but it was quite a fun experience.
It was extremely fun, especially considering I stood up until after you guys all put the phones away before I fell off. No, it was there was peaceful parts of it where it was very serene and we were all just kind of listening and enjoying the beauty. There was a bunch of playful moments where,
Right.
we tipped each other here and there and dunked each other and lot of laughing.
Yeah.
We really had a great time out there.
Yeah, I thought that was a lot of good things. How did your boys like the paddleboard? I know it was first for them too.
When the finances clear up, it's probably going to become one of our hobbies
I
now.
love it. Well, it's become a pretty staple here now, so we love it too. So we'll make it work. Well, good. I'm glad that both of those. And again, it was challenging. We had some guys that had never done it. We had a couple guys that didn't quite feel comfortable participating, but they were hanging out on the shore.
Yep.
And they were part of it.
One of the guys hanging out on the shore, it's embarrassing to admit. So I'm struggling when I first get on the board paddling. I'm like, I swear if I paddle this side, I should go that way, like a boat. And one of the guys from the shore calls out, you might want to turn the board around. It was on the board backwards. So the fins weren't helping the way they're designed to.
It's a learning experience, right? You learn something new.
Absolutely. All weekend long.
Yeah.
All weekend long.
Yeah.
A bunch of guys with different backgrounds, different experiences, but they were all willing to share. Not one of them was judgmental because I didn't know this or didn't know that. They just shared what they knew to help me learn more.
Yeah. That was the best thing I seen with everybody. We all just rallied around the person or people during the activity or the group session that needed it. I think that was really awesome that naturally, just that flow really became part of the retreat. And so we were able to have that paddleboard experience. We come back, sit down, relax for a little bit, have a little downtime. And then we had our dinner together. And then we jumped into our first workshop was with Lincoln. And, to dive a little bit more in, Lincoln specializes in internal family systems therapy. I call him my inside out therapist. It's just like the Inside Out movie. He talks about the different parts and how they, work inside you and how you can get them to work more in a team and how to recognize them. And there's a lot more information to dive into that. But he really made everybody in that group feel super comfortable right from the get-go. Did you feel that as well?
Yeah. I don't get me wrong. I was terrified when I had to tell him I didn't do exactly what you told me to do. But instantly with his response, I feel like I could talk to him about anything at this point.
Yeah.
Just
And you felt like it was a safe place so you could say anything with all the guys there too.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I'll back up a little bit to that very first introductory session on the first night around the kitchen area there. And not just a bunch of guys at this point. Don't even know that this guy works in wellness and this guy works here, just introducing each other. Because my situation had come up and my intentions had changed, I shared all of that story. And that was very tough for me. It was still fairly raw and emotional for me. But then we go around the circle and you find out you're not the only one that has these problems. This very successful business owner that, seems like he has everything in life has a similar issue. And then you go 2 or 3 guys down the road or then the next guy talks about an issue and you're like, I had that issue in the past. So I can relate to him and I can give my experiences to this guy throughout this weekend of how I overcame that very challenge that he's dealing with now. You get 2 guys down the circle and, oh, there's another guy that has the exact same problem that I have, and he just got it thrown on him a week ago.
Yeah.
It was very eye-opening that you can talk about some of these very personal situations with other people because, as men in society, we tend to be told to shut up and have thick skin and handle it in silence and do all those things. But once you start talking to each other about your challenges, you can actually start helping each other, not from a place of arrogance or superiority, but from a place of, hey, man, I know what you're going through. This was what happened to me. Here's a couple of things I tried. None of us expected everybody to go do whatever the suggestion was necessarily or follow their blueprint, but it was just, let me share with you what I've done and what's worked for me. And that happened all weekend long.
Yeah. Well, that brings into that connection part that what I was really striving for, putting this together when I initially had that thought, is to let everybody know who came. They're not alone. You do not have to go through life and struggle in silence, struggle in pain, struggle alone. There is so many people out there that'll just be there for you and have had similar experiences. And that connection makes us stronger as men, makes us stronger as a community, makes us stronger as a society, and just overall. If we would all take a little bit more time and slow down and step back a little bit, can you imagine what would happen if we had that connection with 80% of the people we met on a daily basis?
It'd be a completely different world, Scott.
Yeah.
It'd be a completely different world.
Maybe eventually we'll get there. We got to have big dreams, right, Alec?
Great goal to have.
So we did the experience with Lincoln. He did a mock IFS therapy session with one of the guys that volunteered, which was amazing to watch that. He took us through a meditation, which was fantastic. It was a meditation that I don't think anybody there had gone through a meditation like that. It was very unique.
It was my very first meditation ever.
So let's elaborate on that. What were your thoughts when you heard the word meditation? What were you thinking? And then how was it different?
Initially, I have a very active mind. I have a mind that can keep me up for hours at night that I just can't turn off because it's just constantly moving and going and thinking about problems and challenges and next steps and planning. I've never thought I could meditate at all. I had tried box breathing before and I get caught up in the counting instead of focusing on your breath and like, am I counting the 4 seconds right? And I overthink everything. So I didn't think I was going to be able to calm my mind and actually follow the steps along. But I don't know if it's like a combination of his personality, his soothing tone, the tempo in which he speaks. I actually felt myself falling into it and actually being able to imagine what he was suggesting I imagine. Now, I don't think I'm going to go start meditating on my own, but I am very interested in more guided meditation sessions because he had the skill and the knowledge to walk you through an idea while tying nature into it too, which was
Right.
That's super helpful for me. And I know I've already said it, but I got to go back to it again. The back and forth we had after we had that meditation session where he talked to me one-on-one, well, in front of the group, but talked to me about my challenge with the meditation and my concern of whether I did it right or not, was such an amazing, soothing experience where you're expected to get slapped by the teacher, or your hand slapped by the teacher for not following the rules, right? Because we all follow the rules,
Right.
and it didn't happen. He took the time to understand where I was coming from and what my point of view was, and he saw the positivity in it and the beauty in it. I think he told me it was beautiful 5 times.
Yeah.
And it was that like so calming that wow, he's stopping, he's listening, he's thinking this through, he's processing it, not, you know, you go get a fitness coach or whatever and you slide off on this or you eat something wrong and they kind of come down on you. It wasn't that experience at all. It felt like it was just, I don't know how he does it. Another person that you've known forever that cares about you.
Yeah.
Even though he just met you.
Yeah.
Just very impressed with that.
Yeah.
That meditation and Lincoln.
Well, I will throw it out there, Lincoln. If you ever have any downtime and you're listening to this, why don't you record some guided meditations? We'll all buy them. We'll listen to them. They're really, really good. I've had multiple with him and I have not disliked any of them. They're great.
Yeah.
So no, that was that whole experience. We had a couple guys there, yourself being really one of them and a couple other ones who really had never sat in a room with a therapist before, at least on their own or ever at all. And so afterwards, I had multiple of them say, you know what, therapy isn't that bad. Therapy's really not scary. Like if therapy's like this, I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about how he went about the things he taught us, how he went about showing us what therapy was. So it's not scary and really introducing that whole factor into our lives of maybe this is a good thing. I really enjoyed that.
Even my boys on the drive home talked about, I don't remember his exact statement, but he was talking about why he enjoyed this particular, I think it was modality
Yes.
therapy, I think is what he said. And it was, he doesn't have to have the answer. He doesn't have to be the smartest guy in the room. He just has to guide you through the conversation that you need to have with yourself. And I don't remember exactly what he said, but that even triggered my boys to say that's pretty awesome that he's not telling us we're right or we're wrong or that he has all the answers or that he's smarter than that he's the smartest guy in the room. He's just a partner or a guide. Like I tie it back into my time in Alaska. If you want to go hunting and be successful, you get a guide that's been there, that has the experience. And that's kind of what he did, is he guided us through us having conversations with ourselves.
Well, and that's kind of how we went into it, is he's there as the guide. He's going to walk the path with you. He's going to be there to hold you up when you're struggling, but he can't do the work for you himself. And he's not going to tell you which fork in the road to take when you come to it. He's going to give you the information so that you can decide what the best avenue is for you. And that's why I absolutely love him as a therapist and how he goes about it, is because he really is that Christ-like person walking next to you. He's there to help you when you're struggling, there to help recognize when things are hard, and then also preparing you and giving you the tools to deal with them as you go.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the best description I can give about Lincoln and how he is with a therapist and how he was that night with all of you guys.
Yeah, really grateful for him coming out and taking the time to do that.
Yeah. And then next we jumped into that sound bath. As I mentioned, Andy, an amazing human being just in himself. He is just an amazing guy. Andy Satterley, he is one of the very few men licensed to do sound baths in Utah. He is also a licensed foot zoner. He understands energy in the body. He understands health and wellness. He's a fitness coach as well. He's an amazing guy, just overall. But he took us through another guided meditation through his sound bath, which I will tell you, that's the first time I've ever had a guided meditation through a sound bath.
Mm-hmm.
That was a pretty cool experience.
I don't want to take away from the experience because it was great. I just happened to have a bug buzzing in my ear the whole time that I think threw it off. But it was definitely something I'm interested in trying again at some point. The guided meditation part of it, particularly, it was like the second guided meditation of the day. And I think maybe that also helped me decide that meditation is something I want to look into more, learn about more, try and implement. But of course, I want it guided. I don't want to do it wrong until I get very good at it. And I will say it was amazing. It was very calming. Um, and there was a point where he went from one type of sound to a completely different type of sound. And it was like I could feel, like physically feel. It was like water making. I don't know the instrument.
It was the shift in energy at that moment.
Yeah,
You
it
just-
it felt like there was wind that kicked up and like the fire that my head was kind of close to, all of a sudden it felt like the wind was blowing the fire over my face, and I could feel I could feel the heat coming over me. It was interesting. So
Yeah.
it's impactful and it's powerful, and I really want to do it without the bug
Yeah,
right next to
yeah.
my ear messing it up.
Well, and when I was putting it together, I've had very great experiences with sound baths. Energy, I mean, not music has such a powerful healing energy to it. It has been very, very implemental in my healing journey is the power of music and how it can influence you in good, positive, bad, all the different ways. And I've had a couple sound baths, and I really was interested to have Andy come out and do it because sound itself is powerful. And I will tell you, we were in the middle of the desert. We're doing this sound bath, and I'll tell you what, I could not hear anything else. It was so overwhelming. That sound was echoing all the way through the atmosphere around us. Like I really felt the best way I can describe it. Anybody seen the pictures know what the Sphere is down in Vegas? I haven't actually been there, but I envisioned we were kind of inside our own little sphere with this energy and sound around us that was protecting us as we were doing this meditation. That's how I kind of felt as I went through it.
And back up again a little bit too. I really enjoyed the fact that like, as he was kind of getting our minds ready for the meditation, he was also explaining that this note is tied to this. This note is. I don't know nothing about music. I have no musical talent whatsoever, no rhythm, any of that. But as he's, getting himself set up and we're getting positioned where we need to be, he also took the time to kind of explain his craft, which I'll even tie back to another conversation I had with him about the foot zoning, which wasn't even what he was there for, but I had questions about it from when I had heard about it on the podcast before,
Mhm.
and took some time to talk to him about someone I know that has foot issues and where those foot issues are. And, he didn't break out a calculator and start charging me for his time. He just stopped and he talked and he was like, well, this zone could tie to this or this. This zone could tie to this or this. And maybe second guess because it happened to tie into a person's lungs and kidneys. And this particular person has bad habits for their lungs and for their kidneys. So
Yeah.
it was pretty interesting that even though he wasn't getting to do a session with a person doing the foot zoning, that he would still share enough information that tied back to it so well and was informative. And it just kind of goes to show the kind of character that he has.
Yeah. No, it was great. I think every one of us slept really good
Oh,
afterwards.
yes, that was the best
I mean,
sleep of the weekend. Was that?
we were busy that day. I mean, we had two physical activities. We were outside all day. It was warm. Then we had the workshops where we challenged ourselves mentally.
Yeah.
And then he was able to just kind of put our souls to ease and let us just rest that night by the end of it. So
It was a great way to wrap up an evening,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, I have the entire thing recorded. It turned out very well.
Awesome.
So as I finish editing some of the nature sounds out of the background, you could possibly use that and revisit that space again.
Interesting.
So-
I would definitely be interested in that, Scott.
So that I'm working on cleaning up, and that'll be available. So that would be really cool. So, well, awesome. And at this point, we all go to bed that night. I felt like I took a deep breath as I laid down that night, and just like, wow, I think we've made a difference. I think I've at least put something together that a few of these guys are going to go home with more tools or a different outlook. I was very just relaxed going to bed that night because we had such a great experience with all of us together. And that was powerful for me. I slept great because I was kind of in that mode. I was so stressed out the whole weekend trying to make everything. And I know you've seen it when we got there. And I by the end of that night, it was different. I kind
Yeah.
of set in and I calmed down. So we got up the next morning and we did our breakfast together. And then we sat down and I did a workshop with everybody, connection workshop. And we actually ended up only doing part of it because we ended up doing a few other things after that. But I did something new in that workshop, which was really fun because I did it before to see how challenging it was going to be and how I thought it was going to be perceived. And that was the mirror exercise. I wanted to touch base on that with you. So, what the mirror exercise is for everybody listening is you look in the mirror, you look at yourself directly, you look yourself in the eye. First of all, you ask what you see. What are you looking at? The response we got from most of the guys was, I'm looking at an old man. That was kind of the first response. That first thing, like negative, kind of a negative. I mean, not really bad, just kind of a negative perspective.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm old. But then everybody, as they looked deeper, they started to see like the person they were and different things. And then we asked the question, right to yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror. You ask the question, what can I do for you today? How was that experience for you and your boys?
I don't know. I didn't really talk to the boys about that one, to be honest. So I don't want to put words in their mouths. It's one I'm still struggling with, to be honest. It's one I'm continuing to work on. It changed my opinion because I've sacrificed myself for the last 25 years. What I wanted didn't matter. What she wanted mattered. What the kids needed mattered. What the kids wanted mattered. That I was raising well-behaved children that were respectful mattered. Um, I was always last on the list. That was one of the moments I teared up for sure. And I still struggle answering those questions. What can I do for me?
Yeah.
Which is why I want to look into some of these items more, these guided meditations more, as a sound bath maybe once a month or every other month. It was foreign to me to think about what can I do for me today. As I struggle with it moving forward, I have at least finally accepted that it is perfectly okay for me to focus on myself, my faith, and my family, and put those three things first.
In that order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and part of that challenge that I challenged everybody after we were done with that is the high five challenge, which is the second part of that. And and I can't take any credit for this because this came off Mel Robbins had a doctor on and they were talking on her show. And it's the high five. You get up, you look yourself in the mirror, and you actually physically give yourself a high five in the mirror before you start the day every day and say, I got this. It sounds simple, but it's not. It's hard.
Yeah.
It challenges you, but I'm telling you, if you can do it for 7 days in a row, you'll start to see the change in your day, the change of your attitude. It's pretty a powerful thing. And it's one of those things that, again, we're going back to this retreat as connecting with ourselves and who we are. If we don't ask ourselves what we need, if we don't congratulate ourselves on our wins, if we don't let ourselves know that we're here when we fall and we'll help pick ourselves back up, we can't connect with other people.
Right.
And so that's kind of that foundation is that connection with yourself, and that's a great way that I personally have found it to be powerful. I haven't done it every day.
Right.
I won't tell anybody I do,
Same.
but the days I do it, I'm trying to be better, but the days I do it, I definitely feel better.
I'm going to definitely say too that as I'm going down my own personal journey, it is the small things that are impactful. And maybe if we can get more people in the world to understand that the little things have more impact. I don't have to understand psychology 100%. I don't have to get a therapist degree to help me or to help others. I can give a wave and smile
Yeah.
and say, have a nice day.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't have to know the person's backstory. Kind of reminds me of a story when I was on a business trip, walking down, doing my morning walk around the hotel, getting my morning sunlight. It's a new thing I'm trying to, getting early morning sun in your eyes, and give a little guy a wave just out of politeness. And he comes unglued. Why are you pointing at me, you fat white? Rah, rah, rah. Like, I was just saying good morning. It's kind of a normal thing to do. Guy starts cursing again. Hope your day gets better, brother. Enjoy life. Don't know what's going on, but I hope your day gets better. And I walked on. In the past, I would have chirped right back up and possibly been in an altercation, right? But now I can see someone else is having a bad day. I know I've had bad days. Wish them the best. Little things like that. I don't know if it helped him or not, but I didn't go away from it with a negative feeling. I felt positive about it.
Yeah.
And it was just a little thing.
Yeah. Well, and that's something we talked about there at the retreat, kind of as we were wrapping up, is share that just like you're doing. Just say hi to a random stranger. Make it your goal to say hi to 5 random strangers or smile, even just smile at them during the day. I mean, road rage is a very big problem here in Utah right now. We've had way too many incidents and way too many deaths because of road rage the last couple of years. What do you think about smiling at the guy that flips you off as he drives by? You just wave and smile. I mean, maybe that'll change things. If you're sitting in traffic and you look over at the person next to you and you can tell they're just stressed or whatever, just smile at them.
Mm-hmm.
It could completely change their day
Or yours.
or yours. Absolutely. It's crazy how those small little things can affect you even more than the people that you're trying to do them for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think overall, and again, this is just me. I was so nervous going into this retreat. I had no idea what I was doing. I knew I had some goals I wanted to accomplish. I knew I wanted to put out a message throughout the whole retreat to these guys. At the end of it, I want to hear your thoughts. Was the retreat successful? What did you kind of get out of the retreat overall? And would you recommend somebody else doing one?
Successful, yes. I got out of the retreat that I don't have to do this alone because I'm going through some challenges. And I feel like everyone that was there, I could call up today and talk about my problems, my challenges, and that they would put whatever they have going on in their life aside for 10 or 15 minutes to hear me out, give me some words of encouragement, and try and build me up and lift me back up, help me, reach down and pull me back up. Never been to an event like that, not through the church, not through nothing. Never been to a men's retreat. I feel like I walked away with a group of friends beyond my coworkers, because for the last 25 years, as I sacrificed everything for another human being, my friendships disappeared other than my coworkers. I have great relationships with the people I work with.
But then you move and you change jobs and those relationships kind of go away.
Kind of dwindle away.
Right.
Well, I was able to create connections and build some relationship with a group of men that would support me in my time of need should it arise. I was really grateful for you putting it on. Really grateful for you inviting me and pushing. I would absolutely recommend this to men that don't feel like they have any challenges in life. I used to feel that way too. I got this world by the cojones, I'm either winning or learning, it's okay. And I would also recommend it to anybody who's dealing with challenges that doesn't want to talk, wants to keep it bottled up, thinks other men are going to look down on them or chastise them or make fun of them or whatever the fear is, I'd like them to know that you can let go of that fear at an event like this. And you'll probably grow a little bit
Yeah.
while you're there.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing. I feel like the biggest thing I seen that was consistent through everybody is breaking down some of those walls. That we don't have to try and do this all alone. Even your boys. I
Mhm.
seen that they were learning from some of the other guys there and interacting with them. And as I seen that evolve through the weekend, they started asking different questions of these guys.
Mhm.
They wanted to learn, they wanted to know. They weren't like that at first. They were very shy, very kind of, I don't know if I want to talk to them.
They were very guarded at first, I feel.
Yes.
One especially, very guarded. That was another thing, that was nice for me. And it sounds weird when I say it, but it was really nice to see my boys learn from some other men. To feel that it's not 100% on me. I don't have to be the only one. Now I'm 100% responsible for the men that they turn into. But all of the education, all of the lessons, all of the things they need to hear and see, I have a tribe of men around me that care about me and my boys, even though I just met them.
Yeah.
Between Reed teaching one of them how to cook and how to take care of cast iron and how to do everything camping related, when we had to jump in together to fight the windstorms to keep the tents from being destroyed, the teamwork, the compliments, hey, you're like really impressed with your boys. For kids their age to jump in and help and do these things, that's really amazing. And, you should really be proud of what you've done with them. And to hear positive things out of out of nowhere, just it was their observation and they decided to share it, and it really gave me some really positive feelings and vibes and made me realize I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
This is just one more challenge that is gonna mold me and make me a better, stronger man.
Yeah, well, I think you're really diving in and you're opening yourself up now to different ways, different communities, trying to build different types of relationships than you've had in the past.
Mhm.
And I really commend you for, like I say, you have changed so much even from the first time I met you. And it's all been such a positive way. You've had your bumps in the road like we all do,
Mhm.
and you've really just slowed down, found the best path over that speed bump, and you've made it through it. So you're doing great, Alex. And one thing I want to highlight is you're setting the example for other men, but also for your boys. And particularly one thing I want to highlight, you told me, and this really just made my day, is we had a conversation in last week and you were telling me about how you guys have been going back to church, and I knew that, but your boys are now becoming more engaged. And one of them says, "You know what, Dad? It's time for me to take some ownership. I want to be baptized." And that to me is powerful. And it really comes from the compassion and the leadership and the example that not only you have put out there, but you've made available to them by the people you're surrounding yourself with. And that's still, with everything going on, that really just warms my heart to know that, you know what, we aren't alone. And yes, our children do watch. They may not listen, but they do watch what we do.
And when they're not listening, they still hear.
They do.
Yeah, it was one of the most one of my proudest moments in my life, to be honest.
And I think that would not have happened if you wouldn't have started down this journey and jumped out of your comfort zone to come to this retreat and come to meeting these other guys and sharing things. I really think that was a big milestone in the conversations that we've had that kind of triggered that for them.
I agree. I completely agree.
So,
As a matter of fact, only one of my boys was going to church with me before the event.
and now both of them are.
and one of my daughters.
Let's see. Again, it's
And I don't force them.
No.
It is the way I've raised them. I'm a diehard football fan. That doesn't mean you have to like football or play football. You want to learn Chinese? I'll go learn about the Chinese culture with you. You want to be in the marching band? Then I'm going to learn about the marching band and I'm going to support that. I'm here to make your decisions. And that's how I've kind of treated Faith. I try to live it the best I can. I'm doing much better this last handful of months than I had through 20 years of marriage or 20 plus years. I want them to see me do it. I want them to see me live it. And I want them to come to the right decision for themselves.
Yeah.
And you're right. By being an example and trying to live the life that I aspire to live, by men's retreat. One of my boys last Sunday went and talked to the preachers afterwards, and he now wants to go to a weekly men's group at the church. There's no way that would have ever happened if we hadn't gone to this men's retreat first.
Yeah.
So yes, 100%.
Oh, and it's great. And that's full circle. Again, I put on this retreat, called it Strength and Connection. First, because you've got to connect with yourself, work on yourself, know yourself. But then by doing that, you show the example and you're able to connect to others and then empower them with what you've learned. And you are a prime example of a success story of what we were really trying to do, is because you have embodied that, I'm taking care of myself now, but guess what? Because I'm taking care of myself, I am taking care of everybody around me better. And it really is that domino effect that I've done it for years. I've heard you say it. You've done it for years. We always just try to take care of everybody around us. We don't matter. But the reality is as we take care of ourselves, everything else falls into place the way it should.
Makes it a lot easier to take care of everyone else when we're taking care of ourselves.
100%. So, well, Alex, as we close up, anything you want to throw out there, anybody who's thinking about a retreat, thinking about working on themselves, is there any highlights you want to just re-hit or throw out there again?
I would just encourage those out there considering going to an event like this to put any fears aside and go. Just do it. Your retreat may be different than the retreat I attended. Scott did ask for one thing of all of us before we went to this retreat. And if you do anything like this, whether it be with Scott or someone else, he said, please come with an open mind and an open heart. And I think that was key for it to be as successful as it was. I had men share poetry that they don't share with the entire group. Tears streaming down probably all of our faces when we listened to it. I think the people that we had all took your message of please come with an open mind and an open heart seriously. And I feel that truly enhanced the event that we had.
Yeah.
So I highly encourage people to try it. It's well worth the time and the investment.
Yeah. Well, you've got to invest in yourself. And that's what I tell everybody. How much is a happy life for you worth? How much is living longer worth? How much is just being proud of who you are worth? You can't put a dollar amount on it. So find the time, find the resources, and work on yourself. Do something for yourself.
Yes.
Well, Alex, I know you've listened to a handful of these episodes, and I'm going to throw it out there. I know I'm an open book, but has there been any question or anything on your mind lately you wanted to ask me?
Yeah, I'm going to put you on the spot, Scott.
I love it.
When's the next one?
Well, we are going to look at trying to do 2 of these a year.
Okay.
So we will probably look at doing something in the spring. We are on the fence right now about doing a co-ed one. You don't have to be couples.
Okay.
It can just be a co-ed one. We'll just have men and women come. It will be a completely different experience, right?
Yeah.
But we will do another men's one probably next fall, a little bit later. So it's a little cooler for us and we don't have to worry about some of the weather issues we have as much. But yes, look forward to probably 2 a year going forward, as long as we can get their participation in the ones.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm
So-
looking forward to it.
But all the women, even Hillary included, is just like, we want to do one. So yeah, we got to
Okay.
do a co-ed one, and it's possible we might do a women's only, and I'll just kind of facilitate it, and we'll get a couple of these women therapists and other people involved to kind of help run one too. So the options are out there. I felt like we attained our goals, and we learned a lot. So we know what to do and how to improve them, and just keep it going. I just feel it's needed.
I truly hope you continue this. I really do.
Well, thank you. Thank you again for being willing to put yourself out there and come and have your boys kind of help with the setup and some of the logistics things. I couldn't have done it without you guys. I really couldn't have.
Oh, no problem. We're thrilled to
So-
be part of it.
Well, everybody, I hope this has been fun. It's been great for me. It's always good to sit down and talk to Alex. We get to know each other better every time we chat. Share this episode with somebody that needs to hear it. We couldn't do it without you. We love your support, your comments, the community that we're building around this, and we really are just trying to help other people out there navigate through life's challenges and deal with their daily pickles. It's all about surviving the pickles that you go through in life here on the Surviving Life's Pickles podcast. So we hope and look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thanks, everybody.
Have a great week, everyone.